Hi, everyone. I'm Andy Bryson, Chief Product Officer. I guess I'll start with an announcement. We're going to rename Affinity to Affinity.ai. Okay. So I think stepping back and kind of looking at the last year or so, it's been a tough change. We've been talking about it in general. As we see, the capital markets have changed, the investment environment has changed, the fundraising environment has changed. And it's really much, much more difficult to be able to find those winning deals and to compete with them. And so, as we think about how everybody's adjusting what they do and looking for ways to be more efficient, it's become really critical to find tools and solutions to do that. At the same time, there is this big craze about AI, as everybody is looking at that as both an investment opportunity as well as an efficiency gain solution. And so at Affinity, we've been doing the same thing, kind of looking at it to say where and how can we leverage AI as a way to improve your ability to do your job well using the platform. And, it's dominated cultural conversations. It's definitely part of investments. And it's part of the change that we're dealing with. And so with Affinity, we've been playing in AI for quite some time with things like relationship score. But the emerging technology really forced us to step back and say, how can we leverage this to make some of the products that we have today just be more efficient, to be better at giving you the insights you need when you need them in new creative ways. And so we're going to start there. We've been investing in some products. I'm going to announce them here and share what we're doing in the space. First step is when we think about an investment, when you're looking at an investment, there's a bunch of things that you generally want to know before you take a next action. Who are the key competitors in that market? What's the industry in general look like? Is it crowded? What's an exit or success look like? And usually that's quite a bit of work. You're ping-ponging across a bunch of different sites, sources, data points, research, people, and then trying to analyze it and come up with some sort of perspective on a deal. And that can be pretty time-consuming. And so we wanted to do something called industry insights. Basically what we're doing is leveraging AI to preview the space. So when you go to a company profile in Affinity, we're able to give you information about other companies in the space. It's those that are either competitive with or selling into the same industry. We can showcase some of the unique things about those companies, such as the key products, the differences between the products, their competitive advantages. And so if you find one of those companies that looks interesting to you in that competitive space, it's also going to link to the Affinity profiles, and that allows you to quickly click in and see, is there previous interactions with them? Have you had a connection to one of them? And you get all the sort of notes and context that is so valuable within an Affinity profile. So this is, I guess, a pretty exciting new product for us. Kunal, one of the product managers, is going to do a quick talk through and demo.
The early days of assessing a potential investment involves determining the landscape that a target company operates within. Now, with Affinity's industry insights, we have added an easy way for you to get a snapshot of a target company's landscape as you research companies from company websites and LinkedIn pages. Embedded within Affinity Pathfinder, clicking on the Industry Insights tab will show you a list of companies that compete with your potential investment or sell to the same market. In this example, as we research Anthropic AI, you can see competitors like Cohere and Hugging Face, as well as other companies that operate in the same space, such as Scale AI, Descript, and Replica. Clicking into a company card reveals even more data and can give you insights such as what they succeed at, what product they sell, who do they sell to, and with what monetization strategy. Additionally, clicking into a company takes you to their Affinity profile, so you can see enriched Affinity fields such as their funding data, information about their investors, and information about their founders. You can also determine if you or your team has a relationship or history of activity with that company. Affinity's industry insights makes it easy for you to get a quick summary of the landscape that your prospect operates in, so you and your team can prioritize your time to focus on finding the right deals.
So this is something we've been working on over the last couple of months. So it's an alpha for enterprise customers today. And so if you're interested in trying it, giving us feedback on it, please talk to people on the booth during lunch, and we'd love to get your feedback. Yes. So the next feature we're going to talk about is meeting. You all spend a bunch of time in meetings. We all spend time in meetings. And meetings are a big part of how you would advance a deal, build relationships with founders, to develop that pipeline in general. And meetings are hard in general. You're basically trying to both be present in the meeting and interact with the person, the founder, the LP, whoever it is, in a real way, while also capturing key information. And so by having sort of a fractured focus, you can sort of miss out on key opportunities to ask a follow-up question and or to really, essentially get a gap in information as you miss something in your notes. So what will often happen is people either choose to try to balance those during a meeting or choose to try to write their meetings at the end of the day, or write their notes at the end of the day for the meeting. And neither is really ideal. And so we think AI can really help automate this. We think we can fix this. We are launching a product called Affinity Note Taker. And essentially what it does is invite a note taker into your meeting. It will leverage all of the context of private capital knowledge so that it can produce a combination of a transcript of that meeting, but also an industry-specific summarization of key highlights, follow-up actions. And by being industry-aware, the prompt itself produces these notes that are going to be more relevant than a general note-taking app. And so the fact that it does work within the private capital space, it plugs into any of the meeting platforms you choose to use, Zoom, Meeting, Teams, etc., allows it to automate that process of capturing those key notes. And it also integrates it right back into Affinity. And so it'll save that note and that transcript on the meeting without having to do anything manually. And so that allows you to focus on the meeting and get the most of that meeting while also capturing the information so that you and your team have it afterwards. So once again, Kunal will show this.
Affinity Note Taker is an AI companion that will capture all of your meeting notes and transcripts right from your virtual meetings. Compatible with Zoom, Google Meet, and Microsoft Teams, you can choose to invite the note taker to join all of your meetings automatically. You can also simply invite Affinity Note Taker to specific meetings that you wish for it to join. This is all you need to get your meeting takeaways. After a meeting, Affinity Note Taker will automatically link your meeting notes to your CRM. You can visit the Affinity profile to view the notes on your activity timeline as well as the Notes tab. You can also easily view the transcript associated with each meeting. And because we've tailored Affinity Note Taker to understand the context of private capital firms, you can be confident in the context of the meeting notes that are generated for you. Now with Affinity Note Taker, you can spend your entire focus and energy on the people you are speaking to, the answers you procure, and your follow-up questions.
So we've had this live in testing for a little while now, and we've been getting really, really positive feedback from a number of customers. It's, again, the content within the notes is proving to be very accurate and valuable. And again, being able to really focus in the meetings is also a big win. So this has been very exciting. And we're going to launch that to everybody later this year. So expect to hear about it soon. And there's one more thing we're working on right now in the AI space. In general, when you're working through investments, there's a requirement to move fast. Urgency is really important, but we heard about all the data and inputs that are part of that decision-making process. And so it's not uncommon for a deal to have a bunch of emails back and forth, a bunch of files that are part of it, meetings, notes, transcripts. It's all sort of information you need to analyze and synthesize to say, hey, is this something worth moving forward with? Many firms will create some sort of memo or synthesized summary of what that is and bring it to a team. Say, okay, now I have an opinion here if this is worth it or not. But that's a very manual process, very time-consuming process, and we think we can fix this. And so we are working on a product called Affinity Deal Assist with a bunch of new features. Basically what it produces is snippets of information that you can use to produce a tear sheet or an investment memo. And it basically has all of the context of that deal. So if you take all of those meaning transcripts, notes, emails, attachments, etc., we can put that into an LLM and we can produce a summary of what do we know about this opportunity. It'll auto-generate those snippets, but it'll also give you a chat UI. So if you have specific types of queries you want to ask about the state of that deal or the company or the founders or any of the other sort of information that is captured within that deal, you can use that chat interface to dig in and learn more. And so this is what we think is a sort of a big step in UI. It's really sort of personalizing and slightly fine-tuning these LLMs to be relevant to your deals, to your interactions, and so you can get the most out of that. It's in alpha. We're starting to sort of explore how valuable it is. We'd love feedback. It's part of the enterprise tier plan, but it's coming out more in the spring. And so again, in summary, in the AI space, the features that we have are the industry insights. You're welcome to put around, try it. Affinity Note Taker, which will be GA in the next month or two, and then Affinity Deal Assist coming in the spring. So that's our story in AI, what we're doing right now. Going forward, I expect us to continue to invest in the space and do quite a bit more. Last time I was here, a year ago at Campfire, we talked about a bunch of the product improvements. Now we kind of step back since Campfire 2022 and review some of the changes that have happened. In general, what we talked about then was the importance to improve some of the UX and make it easier, more efficient for you to use the product. And we've made quite a bit of progress in that. We've really focused on time savings, fewer clicks, more efficient access to information, better understandability of that information, as well as quite a bit around access control, permissions. So we'll start with a summary from Megan on some of the things that have recently been done.
This year, we set out to make deal-making faster by giving you convenient access to key actions and intelligence throughout Affinity's CRM and browser extensions. To start, Affinity's new navigation bar on the left-hand side is your quick access to important workspaces within Affinities, like the directory lists, all people and all organizations, as well as your favorited lists, allowing you to move back and forth between fundraising tasks, portfolio views, and your deal pipeline without having to skip a beat. All it takes to add a new list to your navigation bar is to click the star to the right side of the list name to pin it. We've also made it easy for you to quickly pull up profiles, opportunities, and notes with a new keyboard shortcut. Command-K on Mac and Alt-K on PC. The global search bar now offers new ways to navigate faster with recent searches, as well as filters to get exactly the information you need. And when you need to capture new information, you can now take a note from anywhere, and then tag it to multiple people, companies, and opportunities, making it easier than ever to ensure your insights are stored everywhere you want them to be. And if you get interrupted by a meeting or another task, you can minimize it into draft mode. Everyone has their unique workflows from Affinity, and now we've given you more control over how you action your notifications and for what updates you get notified. From settings, You can now toggle on and off the web app notifications, as well as email, with a new weekly option that provides a recap of your reminders and notes activity every Friday in your inbox. Finally, Affinity has always understood that a significant amount of your deal work happens beyond the CRM as you research, develop, and close deals. With extensions, you can now search, allowing you to find enriched profiles for companies and people you learn about via website or referral email. And any new information you learn can be captured quickly as you make updates to your people and company lists. And that is Affinity's summer release. Visit affinity.co/summer23 to learn more.
And as she said, yes, we've captured this on our website page, affinity.co/summer23. If you want to learn more, yeah, take a look. Okay, now we're going to shift gears and talk about admins. So Affinity admins are our partners in really ensuring that all of the people that are using Affinity, deal makers, associates, really are able to truly be set up for success, leverage Affinity's automation and relationship intelligence in ways that are right for that firm. And so taking charge here at Affinity is Jamie from Koviak. She's going to join me on stage and introduce some of the changes recently that have been made and some of the stuff that's coming up.
Thanks so much, Jamie. And great to see you all today. I'm Jamie from Koviak, and I oversee our CRM product. So Affinity enables deal teams to move quickly and efficiently by organizing and layering on the newest technologies onto your firm's most valuable and proprietary data. With great power comes great responsibility. We know you operate in a highly regulated environment, and compliance is not negotiable. It's a constant balancing act for our admins to leverage technology in a way that enhances the effectiveness of their teams while also keeping their firm safe. Our commitment to admins has and always will be to reliably deliver technology and data insights in a way that is both safe and secure. We care deeply also about making our product delightful and easy to use for deal makers and associates. So when it comes to data siloing and permissions, we found a way to balance these two often competing demands by putting the controls in your hands to customize Affinity in the way that best fits your team's structure, culture, and regulatory environments. So for our enterprise customers, this includes the ability to decide how teams share proprietary information in the form of synced emails and meetings and user-created content like notes. You can drive a culture of complete transparency, strictly silo between teams, or give your team the power and flexibility to choose what is shared or kept private. We made a huge leap forward in our enterprise permissions early in the year. For some of our customers, full transparency is still the right fit for them. But for over 2/3 of our enterprise customers, we're seeing some level of siloing being leveraged. For many, it's unlocked the ability to bring more teams onto the same Affinity instance. More engaged teams means access to a larger network of relationships that you can leverage in fundraising, finding and closing more deals, and supporting your portfolio companies. We now allow these teams to leverage a larger insight into relationship insights while choosing how they share information around communications and other proprietary content. Next was the release of our roles page, which is available to all customers and provides clarity to each team member on what actions they can and cannot take. If they need more access, it's clear to them who they should go to and make that request. Admins start with a maximum amount of control, but for some enterprise-level admins, they also choose to selectively share those responsibilities by customizing permissions associated with each account role. We started with the most critical actions: inviting new team members, editing permissions, and creating and editing global fields. This has been recently extended to focus on who can take data out of the Affinity platform via API, and soon to be extended to exporting. But coming back to that balancing act, it's often been accepted that complex controls will inevitably lead to a clunky and confusing experience for both admins and their teams. We're committed to challenging that status quo and have prioritized elegant and simple design that scales with us and with you. This year, that included in-product clarity around permissions, account-wide and for specific workflows and affinity lists. It also included integrated and bulk actions to help admins effectively manage large groups of users, a growing number of teams, and most importantly, providing the right amount of access to help those teams move fast, while also keeping your firm safe. In the end, it's about confidence, clarity, and control. And in the short while since we've released these changes, it's been great to see how much value they provide to our admins and to the teams they empower and support. Back to you, Eddie.
Thank you. Oops, that went too far. Thank you, JB. Next up, I want to talk about our focus on becoming an operating platform for private capital. Now, this was mentioned earlier by Ray and is part of our longer-term vision for the product and what we're able to do for you. And as we think about being an operating platform, we have to really consider a bunch of different workflows across your business. And so right now we're looking at 3 specific lanes where we can make improvements to try to move in this direction. The first is sort of recognizing that we work within your tech stack. You very likely have some sort of internal teams that are connecting multiple services together, and we need to be able to really power that to enable you to leverage Affinity within the other tools that you use in an effective way. Secondly, we made our early success in deal making, but we understand that there's much more we can do when we think about portfolio support and fundraising and other jobs that you do as part of your day-to-day. And so we want to make sure that we're making progress in those workflows as well. And finally, even though we had success in deal management, we can't sit on our hands. We have to continue to make real improvements there. And so we want to invest in that as well. So I'll talk through those 3. First, let's sort of talk through that tech stack idea. Today, Affinity, as many people talked about on stage earlier, is used to map out, score, and build context, and then pushed into other systems in many ways. And so what many of our customers do is build out their internal applications or data science teams or exports, and they build programmatically ways to sort of identify interesting companies and push them back into Affinity at the top of funnel, or maybe they run for processes and services like a MailChimp or Typeform or some other application that they build, and really trying to leverage all of the things that Affinity does with automatic activity capture, enrichment, and relationship context within those applications. And so we're excited that we are now releasing our first big update in our API in years. And it's a much more robust API that's really industry standard. It's going to have reliability and usability you would expect in a modern API. And the first use case it really solves for is being able to extract large amounts of list and field data. So that for those firms that are looking to either extract and then build on top of it on a daily basis, build sort of data models, data science models on this data that they need to keep current. And so this will power those capabilities in ways that previously were harder in our old API. Both APIs work hand in hand, so you can use the legacy v1 and this new version. But it's a foundation of our new API going forward. This Q4, I guess, and later this year, we'll make this available to everybody, but we'll continue to build on it as we start to improve not just extracting data, but also how you can write data back to the platform in a very efficient way. So that's sort of how we think we play in the tech stack and really power you to build the systems that you need. Another thing that we want to do is really focus on deal making, or actually things outside of deal making, I should say. There's, as we just heard in the panel, a whole bunch of value that is created by really focusing on portfolio companies and making sure that you're making the right introduction or supporting them in the right way. Similarly, fundraising and LPs require insights and information that sometimes require putting together information to share with them in an effective way. And so we think that ability to collaborate with those key stakeholders outside of your firm is something that we can help with. We can build products to help with. And so we're introducing this concept of a community license. This is basically a way for you to create a list or a filtered view on a list and share that with people outside of your firm. Whether that's portfolio companies and say, hey, you can kind of figure out which introduction you want instead of you being asked to do it for them. Or to LPs and share your pipelines. So it sort of depends on what your firm needs, but this idea of expanding that insight into people outside your firm. So, but yeah, high-level capabilities is you can share a list. You have control over who can see what. It's secure and private. It's only that specific person that gets access to it. It's only the data you choose to include in that list. They have no ability to change that list or drill in farther. So I think of it as sort of a read-only view of a list. And so this is something we're including in our premium and enterprise plans going forward. And we think this can help expand into some additional use cases beyond deal flow. So the next area of focus is really on deal management. Just going back to making sure we're continuing to improve in those areas where we have always been playing. The process of evaluating a deal is often a combination of sort of analyzing many data points and trying to figure out, is this deal worth proceeding with? And we think we can make some improvements there so that you can more easily make those decisions quickly. Compare companies across different quantitative or qualitative data points, calculate those key metrics. Maybe you have some sort of score you want to use, and include that as part of your review on Monday morning, for example. So you have both the context and status, but also these metrics. And so we are finally introducing list calculations here. So this is the ability to take a number of different columns and produce a new data point that can be used throughout the application. So you can filter on it, you can report on it, and you can use it as one of the key data points as you're evaluating your deal flow. And this is something that has been requested for a while. So it's great to get this out. Yes, so this supports calculations and allows you to really sort of easily analyze in an automated way the data points you care about and include it in those discussions about proceeding or not on a specific deal. Okay, so last year when I was here, I was talking about Affinity data and the data challenges in general. Many data points. We've talked about a bunch of different data vendors and how they all have a different answer about a specific whatever it is, push in our company or information. And so we've continued to really focus on data here. The automatic enrichment of profiles is something that saves a lot of time and we know is important and one of the reasons we're differentiated. And so over the last year, we've been investing a lot in making sure we have the right technology and team to continue to make improvements in this space and have made some really good progress. In August, we rolled out 800,000 additional companies that we have automatic information about. We've also identified 39 million companies that we have that are relevant, and so we can start to include those in concepts like sourcing use cases and faster enrichment when you add new people to a list, new companies to a list, or have interactions from people for the first time. On the people side, we have a pretty big exciting change happening next month, which is whenever a person changes a job or gets a new job title, within 2 weeks, we'll automatically update all of your information in your CRM with that information. So you're more likely to have accurate, timely information about where that person is today and what their job title is. For people in the early stage, it's also a good way to sort of identify, is that somebody I should go talk to now because maybe they're going to be founder or it's just sort of triggered and take an action and go have coffee with that. And also, we made a bunch of other improvements with data, things like improving location columns, funding data, employee headcount data. So we just continue to invest in this space and try to ensure that automatic enrichment is as valuable and accurate as possible. So shifting gears now to relationships and relationship intelligence, our core differentiation here. This is an area that we think makes Affinity different from many other products in the space. That idea of the sort of who do you know and how can you leverage that? And we've made some pretty exciting changes here, and we want to talk to those. So to date, our relationships and the relationship context has been about known interactions, emails or meetings or phone calls logged, help create this relationship graph that inform you about who knows whom and how you might get to introduction. And that's been great. But we just think there's a lot more we can do here around inferred connections. Maybe you worked with somebody previously and you haven't interacted with them in your current employer. Or you went to school with somebody, or somebody in your team went to school with somebody. There are relationships there, and we want to try to extract the information from our data sets and sort of identify those relationships and put them forward as possible paths to an introduction into a company. And so we have a new feature, shared work experiences, as part of our relationship insights that we're really excited to launch over the next year. The basic idea is that we are introducing, when you look at a specific company, people at that company that somebody at your firm previously worked with at a previous company. There's no explicit interactions, but there is likely a relationship. Because honestly, most of us have relationships from our careers, from our past, that aren't part of our current jobs, but are very much valuable assets when we think about trying to accomplish something and who we would feel comfortable reaching out to. And so this is a big step forward in our relationship intelligence and in expanding our ability to provide those insights. So yeah, when you view a company profile, now you'll be able to see the specific interactions, but also these overlapping work experiences. We've had a number of customers play with this and give us some feedback. We've also been able to step back and look at what does it mean from a quantitative perspective? And on average, when we look at our customers, all of you, that the data essentially gives you 19,500, this is on average, new introduction paths across 7,500 companies that are not in your network. And so it basically takes this relationship intelligence connection panel and just makes it significantly more likely to be able to provide an introduction path to a new company you're just starting to look at. And so that's what relationship intelligence is about. It's like, who do we know and how do we leverage them to get an outcome? So we're really excited to finally be taking a big leap forward in this, and it's just the start. There's so much more we can do in this when we think about other types of relationships like education or interest or maybe people you've done a deal with in the past. And so this is an area we're going to continue to invest in next year. So that's sort of the summary of the product changes you've made over the last year. At high level, we've talked about these exciting products in AI, industry insights, Affinity Note Taker, and Affinity Deal Assist is coming next. The community license concept and being able to sort of extend your network out into your portfolio companies and your LPs. Some features to help you be more efficient in deal flow, like list calculations, improve data, a better API to interact with your tech stack, and finally, a big leap forward in relationship intelligence. And so that is the product vision.